Hello, guys. Welcome to another long awaited episode of Mostly Sci Fi 2. My name is Mostly Sci Fi, and I'm your host. Please like and subscribe. And don't forget, if you can, donate to Patreon, or you can, donate to the page in any number of ways by becoming a member or anything like that. So I haven't been online for a long time dealing with family issues, not negatively, but very positive family issues. My wife just came from China, and so I've been trying to set her up, and it's been a long, I would say 6 months, but pretty much I'm back. I think the last one I did for you was like 3 months ago. We had the Alien Harvest, and I also did Chance Encounter, an aliens audio story, and we deconstructed that. So I'm trying to come back for good. Like, to tell you the truth, like, I got the time. It's just like the attitude and the mood for me. So I can't say that I don't have time to do this. There was plenty of time. It's just the mood and the attitude, and is it worth it? The YouTube, the money is like is pittance. For the work that you put in, YouTube doesn't pay you enough, right? And I think I've like worked hard and read a lot of books, and I've read a few books here, which took me like a lot of hours and stuff, and it's like, you know what I mean? So it's just me like saying, look, I think I'm worth more, and my time's worth more. So I've been doing other things where the money in comparison to my time is like it's worth it. Okay, not to say that I don't love sci-fi. I love sci-fi. It's just like when you're getting small pittance every like I get paid like every 3 months, and even every 3 months is like $200 or $300, right? So I want to do something that's worth the time. But I think I'm just gonna just keep on riding it out and just see what happens with this, because I really like this channel. I don't want it to just disappear, because all the books I'm reading I really love. Okay, so that being said, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about No One Will Save You. So I just found out this movie. I guess it's been getting like some kind of promotion in the past week from Hulu, because it's on Hulu. And I love science fiction. I love scary movies. So when I saw this, I was like, "Ooh, this is awesome!" Right? So this movie was very interesting. It came out September 22nd, but I didn't even know it came out until like last week. And so I prepared myself. I got the popcorn. I went to Harris Teeter and bought Doritos and beer and all that other stuff. And I set out a day to do this, to watch this movie. I checked out the reviews. I didn't check out well, I did check out Rotten Tomatoes, but I didn't check out like the audience score. So it just said Rotten Tomatoes 82%, right? So I was like, okay, because I saw the trailer and it was about something like extraterrestrials and stuff like that. I read Bud Hopkins, and I love the alien universe. So I thought, oh my God, this is probably, it might be good. Who knows? But they haven't done, when it comes to like alien or extraterrestrial invading your home. And we're not talking about like the ETs from like aliens, those things are terrifying. We're talking about like the Greys, right? And so they haven't made very good movies in the past. I mean, the last one was probably like the Third Kind from Steven Spielberg, right? First Encounters of the Third Encounter, First Encounters of the Third Kind, or whatever. That was a long time ago, and really, that wasn't so good. It doesn't, like, when you watch it today, it's not as good, because it was, you want to see the physical alien. You want to see what they look like, right? And First Encounters of the Third Kind, Steven Spielberg, he doesn't show you that. They just show you like a shadow or something like that. I would say like probably the best movie in terms of, well, before this one came out, the best movie I would say was Sightings with Mel Gibson, right? And that was pretty much about the Greys, but it wasn't. It still didn't give what it was supposed to give. You know what I mean? This movie basically is about. You have to really know about the background of the Greys. Okay? So you have to know like the background of Greys and the alien, like real alien universe, not the alien fictionalized, but the non-fiction alien universes, where you have to know about the Greys. You have to read like Bud Hopkins books. You will have to read Jacob's books, right? You will have to read Christopher, what's his name? Oh my gosh, I know a Christopher Walken movie, but there's that guy that he makes he writes books and stuff like that. Jesus, I forgot his name. I gave somebody at church one of his books. But you got to read these types of books to understand what this movie pretty much is about. Okay? And so if you really just want to know and what this movie's about, you have to read something from Bud Hopkins. If you don't read something from Bud Hopkins, you will not understand this movie. Okay, you would just see it as, okay, it's like a horror movie trying to be a science fiction movie, trying to be something else, right? And so you're not going to appreciate what it is, all right? So me being if you're a sci-fi fan and you have read these kind of like real life alien novels where they come and they psychologically torture you, like they got these things called the Greys, right? And what they do is they psychologically torture you for years. And there's nothing you can do, right? And so when I saw No One Will Save You, when I saw the title, I immediately understood in my mind, what does that mean? Because if you read Bud Hopkins novels, like Missing Time, for instance, we can check this one out. I'm reading Missing Time. You know it from my Sci-Fi channel, okay? Well, this one is The Incredible Visitations of Copley Woods. You will understand what they mean by no one will save you. There's no type of therapy or anything that's gonna make you be sane when these things are coming down at night or whatever to come take you away, to come take your children, doing tests and all this other kind of things. The guy I was thinking about was John Mack. Okay, John Mack wrote a book on the Greys and extraterrestrials. Okay, so if you go in with that knowledge, then you will totally appreciate this movie. Okay? In my mind, I would give it like an 85, I would say. Like if you understand what the director's trying to do. So basically what the movie is about a woman. She's kind of mute and she's had a trauma in her life. Now the whole movie, which the genius part of the whole movie, is pretty much there's no speaking in it. There's really no talking. Okay? The whole movie is showing and not telling. So this is one part that makes it a genius film. Okay? It's showing and not telling. So it's showing this woman that she's like kind of a mute. She's not really a mute, but she's like a homebody, that a traumatic experiences happen to her and she isolates herself from society in a house. Okay? So she isolates herself from society inside a house, and then one night these beings come to just visit her, and they're not only visiting her, it's basically an alien invasion. Okay, and it's not the alien invasion of the violent kind. Okay, it's the alien invasion of the psychological kind. Okay, where they psychologically take you over. They don't need to be violent to take you over, to take the world over, or whatever. So this little town is a microcosm of, I guess, what the world is. And it is kind of like a warning from the directors that this could happen to us, right? We have known that these beings, that the Greys are, there are YouTube videos and all that stuff of, I wish I could just talk to you about it. I forgot the names of these people where they talk about what they saw in Area 51, okay? What they think the plan is in the future, okay? We have beings out there that are millions of millennia more intelligent than we are, okay? And this movie is kind of like them just coming over and just like, we're gonna take this world over in a certain way. We're gonna take it over, but it's not gonna be in a violent way. We're gonna take it over psychologically, and we're going to use the traumatic experiences of the population to subdue them, right? And nothing can save you. Okay, so this woman, she's by herself, and they're sending wave after wave of these extraterrestrials after her, like different kinds, right? And all through the movie, I'm like, kill it, get a knife and kill it, right? And, you know, eventually she's like killing some of them, but they keep coming back bigger and stronger, and it's just like, finally, it's like she's subdued in a way, right? Where she has a traumatic experience and she has to learn to accept, and it's like therapy for her, right? She has to learn to accept what has happened in the past, and she has to learn to forgive herself. Now, for any other movie, we'd be like, okay, that's the end of that. That's a good thing. She has conquered her demons, and then the movie is done because you have defeated the enemy. But in this movie, that's not what it's about. It's like you cannot conquer them. They will not. No one can save you, basically, from yourself, from the things that are these traumatic experiences. You face them, right? They don't disappear. They keep coming and coming and coming and coming back. And so these aliens are these extraterrestrials are representations of this trauma that she has. It's kind of like the Babadook, right? The Australian film made by that lady. The Babadook is like this kind of manifestation, this kind of psychological manifestation. At the end, she learns to subdue it, right? It's like in a closet at the end, and she feeds it when she wants to, and she can control it now. But in this, that's not what this is. Okay, so if you don't understand the psychology, the backstory of alien abductions, you would not pretty much understand this movie. And that's why I got this 56, because they don't, like, majority of people don't believe in that mumbo jumbo about like extraterrestrials and abductions and all that other stuff, right? They don't understand the meaning, or maybe some of them do, but it was so jumbled up because the writers and the director was trying to say different things, and they were showing, not telling, right? So if you go to a movie to see this, it's going to go way over your head. There's too many things that's happening at once, okay? The manifestations of these psychological alien beings, they're terrifying. Like, they are what I expect, like, if these kind of things came to visit me, like the mechanizations of how they move, it's terrifying. Okay, how they look, they may not be so terrifying how they look, but just how they can control you is terrifying. Like their mannerisms, it's terrifying. Okay, they have a scene where basically, these are spoilers, where she kills like one of them, right? And it's like a tall one, because if you really know about alien abductions, they got all manners of sizes, right? So she kills this tall one that's coming into her house, and you're like, in the beginning, you're like, these things are stupid. Just crush them with your telekinesis, because they have telekinesis, right? That is not the objective. It's not to kill, okay? It's to psychologically take over them, right? So she kills one. Well, if you want to say kills one, and you're like, okay, like, yeah, this girl's a superpower. She's awesome, right? And it's very frustrating, because it's like, you got a broom, kill it. You got to get a knife from the kitchen, kill it, right? You know what I'm saying? But throughout the movie, she is like defeating them, okay? In her own way, she's defeating these monsters, these things. But they keep coming. It's like, you cannot put off an invasion. And so at the end, she kind of succumbs to it. And basically, it's just like, because it's not one of these happy endings. So it's like, she finally succumbs, and what we see is what the extraterrestrials see, and this is their form of control. Okay, this woman, when she was young, she did something very bad. Okay, when she was very young, she did something very bad, and she's been trying to forgive herself, but she hasn't been able to forgive herself. Now these extraterrestrials, they come and they allow her to forgive herself, but it's at a cost. Okay, so she's been living like this kind of bad, this seclusion. Everybody hates her in town. People spitting at her and all this other kind of stuff because she done did something, right? And so she's living this kind of life which she feels is okay, but it's miserable. It's a miserable life, but she thinks it's okay, right? And so these things come and invade. At the end, she fights her demons, and these demons, or these alien beings, finally give her solace, but at a cost. Okay? And then at the end, it's even if I spoil it for you, it's not really a spoiler. Okay? Because you have to go into this movie understanding what the director's trying to tell you. Okay? It's one of those movies where I gotta tell you what's going on, and then you can go in knowing, okay, and then you can understand, you can enjoy the movie more. Because if you don't know alien abductions, you're just not gonna get it, and it's just gonna be a jumbled up piece of mess, and that's what most people think, right? But actually, it's a genius movie. Okay, so at a cost, she defeats the demons, right? And if you watch this movie, these beings are never violent. They scream and shout and all that, but they're never violent. Okay? She's more violent than they are. Okay? They're never violent. You never see them kill anyone. But you see her kill. And this goes to show what is going on in the mind of these extraterrestrials. And at the end, you see her in like they're kind of studying her, or so. And then at the end, it's kind of this kind of microcosm of, and is extrapolated to, this is supposed to represent the whole world of all these alien ships, and they're doing this to every single person. And that's one of the things that don't make sense, kind of. It's kind of like, because it's like, Would you have like a billion ships that are doing this to each individual person? Right? Each individual person has a traumatic experience, and this is how you deal with them. Like, what? At what cost does that cost you to bring a billion ships to subdue a population that you find inferior? Why do you need all these resources for that? What is the point of you doing it? You know, so when I saw it, I'm just like, okay. So you have delegated these, seems like, infinite resources to a planet that of beings that you find inferior to you. Why do you need to subjugate these people, right? But the mechanizations of the aliens, the movement of the extraterrestrials, they do certain things that are just terrifying, and you're like, oh my god, right? I had to rewind it several times because it was kind of an interesting movie because of, how because of the experiences that I've read in Bud Hopkins' movie. I saw kind of everything. I seen, like, okay, I understand these things are psychologically manipulating you, and in some way there's a happy ending, but it's not the happy ending that you think, right? In that way, it's terrifying. Okay? But I think it could have been done better, whereas it could have mass appeal and not a limited appeal, because that's why it's going to fail, because it does not have a mass appeal. It's a limited appeal to people who understand alien abductions and the psychology of the Greys agenda. Okay, should I say that? And if you don't know what Greys are, then don't watch this movie until you read, like, those Bud Hopkins books or those John Mack books about alien abductions. Then you will understand it, and then it's like, it's not a masterpiece, but it's like 8.5. Okay? So, I mean, that's what I gotta say. Like, no one will save you. Would I watch it again? I'm probably gonna watch it again at some point. Is it better than, like, fiction aliens, like the xenomorph and stuff? No. Like, yeah. It's just not, like, because, but it's a good movie to understand, or if you are interested in this field of the Greys. If you're interested in that, yeah. They had another movie out a few years ago that was called The Fourth Kind. That was garbage. So a lot of these movies, like, I want them to do something with it, but they're all garbage, except for, like, Sightings. Pretty much, Sightings is pretty good. Is it better than Sightings with Mel Gibson? I would say slightly better than Sightings. Slightly better. Yeah. Because they got better special effects and all that other stuff. So, and it all depends on how you interpret this movie. Like, there's so many different ways you can interpret it. I haven't seen or read what the director was trying to tell us. I'm just going by, I've seen it and I understand from my experience with Greys, like reading about them, what he was kind of trying to say. Okay, so this is mostly sci-fi. Well, mostly.